We're going to leave it to do that.
Everybody stand up. I believe education is the right of every person.
I believe the future depends on mutual understanding and cooperation among business, industry, labor, religious, family, and educational institutions, as well as the people around the world. I agree to do my utmost to bring about understanding and cooperation among all these groups. I believe every person should prepare for a useful occupation and carry on the occupation in a manner that brings the greatest good to the greatest number. I believe every person should actively work according to the social, union, and life. I believe every person has the right to earn a living in a useful occupation, and that this right should not be denied because of race, color, creed, sex, or handicap. I believe every person should take responsibility for carrying out the science act in a manner that brings credit to self, associates, school, and community. I believe I have the responsibility to work efficiently and think clearly. I promise to use my abilities to make the world a better place for everyone.
I'd like to introduce our 2003-2004 FBLA officers. Stand when I call your name. Our Vice President is Mary Conn. Secretary Nicole Wilder. Parliamentarian Larissa Austin. Reporter Ken Rooks. Historian Aaron Polk. And our treasurer was unable to make it, and I'm Dusty Fong, president.
Tonight we have with us Mr. Rose from the Board of Directors. He once was the former Region 9 Vice President in 1989 and 1990. He was Georgia's Mr. Future Business Leader in 1990. Second place at 1989 National Leadership Conference in Business Calculation. Top 15 at 1990 National Leadership Conference in Mr. Future Business Leader. Member and officer of Georgia PBS, 5A Lane. He is now a member of Georgia FBLA Board of Directors for 6 years. Currently the assistant to the state advisor for Georgia FBLA. Two-time National FBLA Business Person of the Year. National FBLA Outstanding Professional Member. Member of several National FBLA Task Force. Georgia FBLA Conference Coordinator. Georgia FBLA Competitive Advance Coordinator. And in his career, he graduated with honors from the University of Georgia. He received the Bachelor of Business Administration in 1993. Certified Public Accountant since 1994. Software developer for Arthur Anderson, 1994-1996. Tax manager for Ernst & Young in 1996-1998. Technology coordinator and business analysis, 1998-2002. Self-employed as an accountant and business analysis since June 2002. Mr. Monty Rose.
Thank you, Mary. Woodruff, who originally was going to come, she sends her greetings. She wishes she were able to be here, but due to her schedule, she actually had to take a little vacation this week. So I'm here at her place, but on behalf of Georgia FBLA, its staff and its board of directors, welcome to the rally, and thank you for the support that Central High School has provided us for many, many years. We've had a very, very exciting year last year. Last year was probably the most successful year in Georgia FBLA's history. We finished #1 with our largest ever state chapter membership in the nation. 2001, if it wasn't for chapters like Central High School, we wouldn't have finished in first place because second place state was only 24 members behind. So every single member of our state last year played a role in that. We also had probably our most successful year at the National Leadership Conference, coming home with over 20 awards and many first places. And it's an honor for chapters that here participated in getting the various chapter recognitions for that. So we're looking forward to a very, very exciting year this year. Our State Executive Council, our Board of Directors have set forth a lot of plans that we are going to try to beat all the successes we had last year. It's going to be very difficult, but we think that we can do it, and we need help from all our chapters, especially from me here at Central High School. When I think of chapters throughout the years, I've been involved with FBLA for many years as an alumni and working with our state chapter. And I look back on what are the chapters that are consistently active. Okay, I always have several chapters, and I probably think of maybe 5 chapters in each of our regions. And when I always come to Region 6, I think I've always gone to Central High School here. Testament for tomorrow, and then all the other advisors that have been here. We thank you for your support throughout the years and for your activities. If you go to the State Leadership Conference, you'll always hear Central High School named several times during the awards session. I know I've never been to a Region 6 conference, but I know that at this conference we hear your name many times. We've got our Fall Leadership Conference coming up in 2 weeks in Athens, and I hope that you're able to attend that. It's going to be a very exciting time. Over 2,000 people from across the state will come to join and to participate in many leadership workshops, listen to exciting speakers, participate in our battle of chapters. And new this year, that's something that I'm really excited about, is our Monopoly Tournament. It's going to support our state project, service project, which is the March of Dimes. And if things are going as planned, right now we've got about 300 people registered, but the registration deadline is not for another few weeks. So we anticipate having almost 1,500 people play Monopoly at the same time in the same room, which will then be the largest Monopoly tournament in the nation. It's going to be a very, very exciting time. It's going to be a very hectic time, and I have no idea how we're going to coordinate it, but we're going to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we are raising money for the March of Dimes with that. We also have our Battle of the Chapters, and we have tours, so if you're able to get there in time to go on tours. We've got tours of Stanford Stadium, the Bucksmere Heritage Hall, the Ramsey Center, as well as the UGA campus. Then the Region 6 conference will be held at the end of January. And so those of you who are competing at those events, start studying and getting prepared so that you can hear your name and get your medallion after the evening. And then the State Leadership Conference will be in mid-March, the second weekend in March in Athens. And that's going to be another exciting time where we've made a few changes to it, but we hope it's going to work out better. And for those of you who this helps, having it in Athens is actually a lot cheaper for you all. Having it the cost of food and the cost of rooms go down significantly. We also have a lot of other activities throughout the year. We have our state projects that we participate in, which it sounds like you'll hear about more. And I also encourage you to to strive to achieve at least the feature level award this year. At Jason last year, got several levels last year for your high school. And last year, Georgia had the most number of people in the nation who competed and participated in what's called the Business Achievement Awards program. So try to get that future award. It's not difficult at all. It requires some basic things that all members should do. And it allows you to get recognition for your health and a certificate and recognition on our national health side as well as at our state conference. So I hope you have an excellent year this year. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, a member of your state executive council, your Region 6 Vice President, Edie Yoku from Mara High School, Ms. Woodruff, or any members of the state staff. I wish you all a very successful year.
I would like to introduce the alumni who have joined us today. Please stand whenever I say your names. Jason Fogmar. Russell Rigby. Chris Hayes. Stephen Ford. And Miss Morrow. Today I have the pleasure of introducing to you Jason Fogmar. He's a former CHS FBLA Chapter President, a two-term Region 6 reporter, winner of 2 consecutive Who's Who in Georgia FBLA Region 6 distinctions, and 3 consecutive CHS FBLA Member of the Year awards. He has served on the Carroll County Business Advisory Committee for the last 3 years, was part of the Central High School Industry Certification process, Central High School SACS reaffirmation process, the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce Advisory Panel, and he has served as a 2-year Central High School team captain for the Marshall Dogs. He is currently a Systems and Methods Incorporated Presidential Scholar at the University of West Georgia, as well as a promotions representative and sales coordinator for Six Flags Atlanta properties. Again, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Jason Fogmar.
Thank you very, very much. It's so good to come back here after being gone since May. It seems longer than me, but it really is not, because I've just had a brief summer, and then this is only my 3rd month as a sophomore in West Georgia. So it might seem like a long time, but really it wasn't that long ago that I was actually standing up here at the awards ceremony in Bakeland last year. It is good to see everyone active again this year. To echo a few things that Monty did say, the business awards, last year I know I sent off at least 100 pages of just documentation for the America Award. That was a lot of stuff to do. And for the Future Award, it's just a few things on a checklist to do, and I know everyone in here has done some of them just in the standard course of being a member of FBLA. And many of those things that our chapter just requires for you to do, which is really nice. So that should be very easy for you to do. Also, it's good to come back and see that you're doing a rally and being very active again. For our keynote speaker, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. James Taylor. He is the Public Relations and Sponsorship Manager for Six Flags Atlanta Properties at Six Flags over Georgia, Whitewater, and American Ventures. So 3 properties, which really doesn't think of being associated together. He is a native of Alabama graduate, University of Alabama, Birmingham. He holds a Bachelor's of Arts, I believe, in Mass Communications, specializing in public relations. He has worked for various public relations firms in Alabama and Georgia, and he's now one of my co-workers at Six Flags. So again, Mr. Jim Taylor.
Well, I really appreciate you guys inviting me out today. When Jason told me he wanted me to speak at his school, I thought, well, gosh, I was really impressed that he chose me to come out here, and I figure I owe him one after, Jason said that it seemed like yesterday that he was in school, and I know exactly why now that I've been at Six Flags for just over a year now. That's because time flies at Six Flags. A summer can flash by a blink of an eye, because we stay pretty busy during the summer. He's certainly shown that this summer, because we worked him to death. So he probably didn't even realize at that time went by. I wanted to talk about a few things today. First of all, I thought you might, I'm the public relations manager for Six Flags Atlanta Properties, so I thought I would tell you just a little bit about the properties first of all, and then tell you just a little bit about public relations, what I do. It's my field, it's my passion, it's my career. And then maybe tell you a little bit about the future of public relations, and maybe how your future might have something to do with that career path. First of all, Six Flags for Georgia was built, does anybody know when? The besides Chris or Jason. It was a long time ago. It was 1967. There was a guy by the name of Angus Wynn that went to Disneyland way back when, really liked the place and thought, well, I really would like to provide something like this to guests at a more affordable price and at a single price. You get paid by the ride, and it's kind of a new concept in the theme park industry. So he built a place called Six Flags Over Texas, and it went over very well. After a couple of years, he came out to the east and decided he was going to build another one. They looked around. Rumor has it they wanted to make it a Six Flags over Alabama, surprisingly enough. But as it ended out, we put it there in a little corner of South Cobb where nothing was before. At that time, it was pretty much farmland. So in those first few years, the park saw, I think the first year it was 1.2 million people. Then by 1973, we were seeing excess of 2 million people, and the attendance has stayed about that since then. We've added new rides, and the park has really changed over the years. So some of you that have been going all your lives, like me, I grew up, like Jason said, in Birmingham. Would come to Six Flags every summer if I was good. My grandparents would take me from bad. Covent Gardens and the zoo. Anyway, in those first couple of years, Six Flags did some things that you guys might not be aware of, like the log ride. That's something, you guys remember the log ride? That's something Six Flags invented. It's a classic. Everybody knows the log ride, like they know the chicken, the big chicken in Marietta. The mine train is another thing that we did. This is the first tubular steel roller coaster. I'm sure Chris can tell you all about roller coasters, being a roller coaster fanatic. Before that time, roller coasters did not have the capability of doing loops or going upside down or doing very neat turns. And so Six Flags came up with the idea and approached the manufacturer to build these little tubes of steel, and if you put wheels around it, you could do all sorts of neat things with a coaster. And you can see where it's led us now with the most recent addition of Superman Ultimate Flight. We came up with the idea for the Great Gas, the parachute ride that goes up 200 feet and brings you back down to Earth. It may seem like a kiddie ride nowadays, but in 1974 it frightens people to death. And in 1973, Chris helped me with this project. We celebrated the 30th anniversary of what was in 1973 the longest, tallest roller coaster the world had ever seen. That's the Great American Scream Machine. So we celebrated its 30th anniversary this year by having a 30-hour marathon, 30 hours straight riding that coaster. I did about an hour of it, and then let the other 8 that made it the rest of the way to it. So nowadays, Six Flags, it used to be the only place in the South. If you're going to go to a theme park, that's where you went. And as a business, we had it great. People would come as far away as Texas sometimes even to come to our park, or as far north as Ohio to come down to our park. But during those first 10 years, a lot of things happened. It soon got to the point where now in the United States, virtually everyone lives within 150 miles of a major theme park. So our competition started to move in. And even in recent years, we've started seeing competition from places like Birmingham, Visionland, and Chris is giggling, and I probably would too. Take a more professional approach, but they, and then of course Wild Adventures, which really is a nice park down in Valdosta, and then there's Carowinds up in South Carolina. They actually opened up in 1973, so they've been around a little while. But and other theme parks, including our first one, Six Flags Over Texas, have seen the same thing over the years. And of course now since 9/11, a lot of theme parks have really been trying to find a way to be competitive. Fortunately, Six Flags is in a lot better shape than the Disney's and Universal might be, because we're a regional theme park. We're not a international theme park. People don't fly to go to Six Flags, they drive. They get in the car, they load up the family, and they go out early in the morning. They go to Six Flags and they come back at night. They don't save up their money for 5 years and then take the kids for a 2-week long mouse campaign. So, and that kind of covers Six Flags Over Georgia, and of course in 1998 we bought Six Flags Whitewater, as you guys now know, and American Adventures right next door. So that's why Jason and I refer to it as Six Flags Atlantic Properties, because certain departments like ours, the marketing division, service all 3 parks. We were just so fortunate to be able to take on those extra 2 parks and the extra workload, so that now we don't have to worry about just 1 park, but 3. And specifically what I do, there's lots of things in the marketing department. Jason helps out with the general marketing department. We have a advertising and promotions manager, and we have a sales manager, and then there's me, the one-man band, and 3 of us report to a marketing director. And we all work together, though. We very cooperative with each other. Jason helps me sometimes, and I help them sometimes. We all kind of work together and try and learn each other's jobs the best we can, so we can cover for each other. Public relations, though, specifically as a professional, I'll kind of tell you about it first. Does anybody know what public relations is? Like, slice clue what public relations is. Yeah, it's dealing with the public. It is somewhat self-explanatory, public relations. A lot of people have a misconception of what it is, and so every opportunity I get, I'll tell people what public relations is so that they can understand it a little bit better. If you pick up a textbook, or if in college you decide to take that public relations course, and it's people that are interested in the business field, I would strongly suggest that you do that so that you can learn just a little bit about public relations, because it will help you in any field that you go into, especially business. Public relations is a management function that facilitates communication between an organization, in this case Six Flags, who I work for, and its publics, which might be the government, it might be other businesses, it might be school groups, it might be investors. That's the sort of thing that I'm responsible for. Does anybody have any idea when public relations began?
Daniel Blackwell, will you please report to the media center? Daniel Blackwell, please report to the media center.
The first public relations campaign, well, there's some argument about that. The first public relations campaign, a lot of people say, and a lot of textbooks say, was in 1800 BC in a country now known as Iraq. The farmers there, to better educate other farmers how to sow their crops, put out this little newsletter, which back then was written on little tablets and pieces of leather or papyrus paper. And then since then it's grown. We went through what a lot of people call as the birth of what might be public relations and the art of public persuasion with the Greeks. There's a guy named Socrates that once said the way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to hear. And then you went on to more modern times, and this is really what got me interested in public relations. There was a fellow by the name of Gandhi that I really became interested in, and what he did to persuade an entire nation that they needed to work together to achieve a common goal. And he used a strategy called persuasion to do that. There was another guy that rather disgusted me the way that he used public relations, or rather propaganda, and that was a guy by the name of Adolf Hitler. He convinced the whole country that they should hate an entire race of people and go to war, and convince the whole planet to go to war, more or less. And then there was another man by the name of Martin Luther King, who I came to respect a great deal because he used the art of public persuasion to convince entire society to change its viewpoints and change its minds about a particular subject, and basically change the way we live nowadays. More recently, we had some in the public relations arena. I would list some people like Bill Clinton, who I think, although he wasn't my favorite president, he might be Jason's. He did manage to run, I think, what is probably the best public relations campaign to date. Come conversely, I think that our current president probably doesn't do such a great job, although I'm a much bigger supporter of his. I'd love to get in there and do PR work for him and tell him how I think he can fix things up just a little bit. Of course, not being a Democrat or Republican, I don't choose sides. The difference, though, I mentioned some different people in there, and to kind of give you an idea of a better definition of public relations, it generally splits into two major areas. You've got public persuasion and propaganda, and this is kind of the key to figuring out what public relations is and what public relations ethics are. I follow a very strict code of ethics in everything that I do and everything that I pitch out there at the park. The difference is public persuasion benefits others. Propaganda only benefits the propagandists. If you look at someone like Hitler and the Nazi regime, their propaganda benefited no one but the Nazis. If you look at someone like Martin Luther King, who preached nonviolence and a brotherly society, that was a situation that benefited everyone involved, both the persuader and the audience. Now, how does that apply to things at the park? What do I do out there? What does Jim do at Six Flags? Well, I am responsible for a couple of things. I'm responsible, first and foremost, of the image of the park. What do people think of Six Flags? Do they think that it's a great, fun place to be? Then I've done my job. Or do they think that it's a dirty, nasty place to be with long lines? I'm not doing such a great job. And everything in between. Issues management. Maybe some of you have noticed in the news that Six Flags occasionally gets brought into an issue, whether it be the flag that we display out at the park, or whether or not we decide to serve alcoholic beverages in our Southern Star Amphitheater. Those are some of the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, because those are situations where Six Flags needs to communicate via the mass media, the television, radio, print, internet, and other media through me. And that's where my other responsibility comes in, and I'm the official spokesperson. So if you're watching news or whatever, I'm the one that stands up there and says, here at Six Flags over Georgia, and turn that part of my job on. And that goes for all three properties. There's lots of different issues we have to manage out of the properties. It seems like every day there's something new popping up that I need to respond to, but also stay proactive. The difference between things like public relations and what people see as advertising is that I don't go out and pay for an advertisement in a newspaper. I call up the editor of the AJC and try and pitch him a story idea. I make the news. I try and come up with something that would be interesting in the park. A good example is this weekend we had an event called the Cure Off-Therapy Celebration. This is a group called Cure Childhood Cancer that had a group of 1,500 kids come out that had survived cancer the last few years, and had a big ceremony for them. Bugs Bunny was there. It was a lot of fun. And I looked at that and saw the news value in it. So my job, I guess the sexiest part of my job as a public relations practitioner, is to call up those radio stations, to call up those television stations, and call up those newspapers and say, hey, editor, hey, journalist, I've got a really great idea. Why don't you guys come out here and cover this event? It's really interesting. I think your viewers or your listeners or your readers would really enjoy it. And if I do my job well, and if I do it properly, those guys will come out there. And it's what a lot of people call free advertising, although I don't really like that term. A lot of the other people at the park, that's what they call it. But then again, they don't know as much as you now know about public relations. The future. What can public relations do for you? Well, I was looking at your creed here, and I saw a couple of things that really do kind of go hand in hand with a lot of the ethics that I follow every day. The second one there, I believe the future depends on a mutual understanding and cooperation among business, industry, labor, religious, family, and educational institutions. That's basically what I was just talking about, the art of public persuasion. When you get out there in the business world and you follow your careers, you're going to find that you often have a lot of different relationships to manage. As a business leader, you'll find yourselves in a situation where you need to please one group of people while at the same time not angering another group of people, and managing all those relationships at once. Public relations, really, a simple class in public relations would teach you a lot about helping to find the mutual understanding between all of those relationships and manage them better. It's something that we do out there on an everyday basis at Six Flags. Another thing that I saw out there is that every person should take the responsibility for carrying out assigned tasks in a manner that brings credit to self, associates, school, and community. And I really like in a manner that brings credit to self, associates, school, and community, because that's something I really do respect as a public relations practitioner. I do adhere to a code of ethics that require me to, number one, tell the truth. I don't slant the truth. I don't tell lies. I may manage a message, and I may craft it the way I want it to be, but I'd never do something like Hitler does and completely lie or slant a message in such a way that it only benefits me. All of the messages that we convey to the public are something that can be mutually beneficial for everyone involved, both the person that hears the message and the person that sends the message. So I really do have a great deal of respect for the FBLA Creed and some of the things that I found on there. And I think that as you get out and start finding your career path, that you'll find a couple of things that I found in my early career search. I got into public relations because I like to run my mouth. Somebody told me, said, Jim, you sure you run your mouth a lot? It seemed to get you into quite a bit of trouble. Why don't you go to school so somebody can teach you to not get into trouble with your mouth, and at the same time turn it into a career? And I thought, well, that sounds great. I like to write. I wasn't creative enough to draw, but found that I was creative enough to craft messages. It was a lot more fun than writing fiction. So there's really four things, I think, and these are also things that you'll find in your creed, I think, if you look closely enough, that you'll need when you choose your future career. The first is you will need skills. You are going to need certain skills to follow a public relations career path. For instance, you need to be able to stand up in front of a group of people and give a halfway intelligible discussion to your audience. You will need knowledge. You're going to need to go to school, and you're going to need to follow some mass communications classes, and you're going to need to learn a little bit about public relations strategies and tactics so that you can carry those on to the next thing, which are your abilities. You're going to have some natural abilities once you get out of school to take your skills and your knowledge and put them together and come up with strategies and tactics of your own to accomplish the things that you're going to need to do for whatever business path you might take. And the last thing, of course, is your qualities. And I think that's really one of the most important things, and that's why I often tell people that you need to figure all these things out backwards. You need to figure out what your qualities are first. What is it that you enjoy doing? What is it that you are good at doing? And follow those things backwards. Find out what your qualities are. Find out what you enjoy doing. If you don't like talking in front of a bunch of people, then maybe public relations is not going to be your thing. Maybe being the president of the United States is not going to be your thing. Maybe being an advisor or working in finance or computer science might be more of your sort of thing. If you're more of the analytical person on the analytical side of business, maybe you're more of if you take more of the advisor role rather than the spokesperson role. Perhaps you're more of the creative type. So maybe you are the person that needs to come up with the business plans and not necessarily the one that presents them. So you need to figure out your qualities first and move backwards, I think, into then figuring out, okay, what kind of abilities do you need to get that, then what kind of knowledge do you need to learn those abilities, and then back down to starting out in school and getting the skills and knowledge to work with those things. I hope that gives you a basic idea of what I I do and maybe a little bit about what your careers will lead you to. I think that the FBLA is a great organization. I'm involved with one similar to this when I was in school. It really helped me out a great deal in marketing, learning how marketing could be used in a career, and that's kind of what led me into the career path that I'm in now. And I thoroughly enjoy working at Six Flags because it's a lot cooler than you can possibly imagine. Because if you're having a stressful day, you go out, get on a roller coaster, you go 17 miles an hour, and it probably won't bother you that day. So it's a fun place to work, and I would suggest if I could leave you one word of advice when you go out there. Some of you may be graduating this year and looking for a college to go to and that sort of thing. And you'll hear all sorts of advice from a lot of different people, but there's one thing I can tell you to take with you, and that's to do something you enjoy. Don't force yourself into a role that you know you're not going to enjoy. I tried to do that. My dad was an engineer. I tried to follow all these math courses and decided that I was good at math, but I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And I would do my homework, but and I made decent grades in those calculus courses, but I just hated it. And finally, I just told myself, there's no way I can do that. And so I sat down with my parents and some of my friends and just really analyzed my life and where it was going in my sophomore year, and completely took a turnaround and got into the public relations courses. And it took me a little longer to finish school after I'd taken all those courses, but really, I think also my foreign language classes convinced me that communications was a subject that I was interested in, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually wake up and look forward to going to work every day, and don't even notice when the clock starts to get past 5 in the afternoon and it's time to go home. And if you enjoy it enough, you'll be like people like Jason and I, you won't even know where your summer's gone. So, anybody have any questions that I can maybe answer for you? Who's going to be a public relations practitioner?
Well, I used to. But I have a question.
Yes.
You need to schedule, like Bugs Bunny and those guys. Like, are you the person that I want to borrow Bugs Bunny for a fundraiser or something? You know, I would call you and exactly. I mean, I always thought that would be a cool job, you know? Instead of like being the guy behind the political candidate, the guy behind the, you know?
I am the person that is responsible for deciding if Bugs Bunny can and where he can go out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Another department actually is in charge of Bugs Bunny and his pals, but when somebody from outside the park requests him, and they send a request to me. We do things like that for charity, you know, and that kind of stuff, you know, fundraisers, things like that. But again, you know, things that mutually benefit the park and the charity involved. So yes, Central Line. Diana. Never mind?
I forgot the question.
It's all right, I've been living with it for a while. You gotta overcome, you know. Anything else? Well, my favorite ride is Batman.
Yeah, we know that was
The Ninja? Who said the Ninja? I just don't know. Yeah.
It doesn't hurt my head. It doesn't hurt
It doesn't hurt your head. Well, I guess it does. People, you know, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you ride that. You know, each ride's a little bit different. I enjoy Batman the most because I think that it starts out intense and it ends intense. And it's smooth. It's like the Mercedes of rides out there. So that's why I like it. It's a smooth ride, but it's hard to really say that it's my favorite. It's the one that pops to mind quick before you get.
Okay. Well, I was have this deja vu. Like, why is it ever working?
Why isn't deja vu working? This is a perfect example of a question that I have to field, not from guests or people that are members of FBLA groups at local high schools, but from the media. They'll ask that question, and I'll just use this example and how I might answer that. You know, I had this question from an editor at ABC, and I told him, I said, well, you know, deja vu is a prototype ride, and we are working out the kinks in it because it is the first of a kind. Nobody's ever built a roller coaster like this before, and so, you know, in addition to the regulations that the state places upon us, Six Flags has some even more stringent regulations to place upon themselves for safe ride maintenance and operation. And a lot of times we are kicking ourselves by forcing ourselves to be so strict. And in the process, it means that rides like Deja Vu sometimes take a lot of work, and we would rather put the work into it so that we don't, in the particular case of Deja Vu, we put a lot of work into it, and we thought it would be better to put that work into it now than just to kind of fix it as it goes along and it continues to break down. So you'll notice that this year it's been up quite dependably, more so than even Superman, some people say. So, which is also a new type of ride. Yeah. Yeah. Deja Vu's pretty cool though. I like it, and I rode Acrophobia finally on Labor Day. Acrophobia, I wouldn't ride it.
That's the best ride.
I wouldn't ride it, and Labor Day was my anniversary of being at the park, and I just so happened to have this Nippon television from Japan. Tokyo, Japan was out there, and they had a camera attached to it. They were doing all this stuff before the park opened one morning, and the ride operator was making fun of me, and the mechanic was making fun of me. They started telling the Japanese guys what I was doing, and they said, "You can tell her, PR guy, not ride the rides." And they started making fun of me, and I said, "Come on, man," and they finally just gave me such a hard time about it. And one of the camera guys in particular, he started yelling something to him in Japanese, and they were translating for me. He made fun of me so bad that I finally just jumped on the road. And it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. Like I tell people, that's the safest way to feel like you're gonna die. You can possibly do, because it'll scare you to death, but you can always feel confident that you're not gonna. So, Cyclone's a favorite of mine. It's a wood coaster. It's a wild, crazy ride. Throws you all over the place. I love that. And then I like the train. Do you like the train? Chris likes the train. Yeah.
We're the engineer now.
Believe me, I asked, and it's not I'd have to go through too much training to do that. So. I do want to be the person that tells people about the park. I want to try and talk to them and let me do that. Because like I said, I like to run my mouth. So I probably just go around and tell people about the park as the train goes around. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun. Probably get old about after 2 hours, but that's get tired. So. Yeah, that's another thing about public relations. You really have to be an expert about the subject that you are communicating. Like when I worked at a PR firm, it was really the only kind of job that would keep my attention. I found because I worked at an HMO for a while, and in the corporate world it was so boring. I mean, everything the same day. So, but at the PR firm, I did work for a golf shirt company. I did work for a manufacturing company. I did work for a truck company. I did work for a law firm and a hospital and an airport. So every single day I'd come in and read all the airport trades. I'd read the newspaper, see what all the stocks, how they were doing, all the clients. And I'd have to read this awful little publication called Water World that was just about people that make pipe. And because one of my clients was a pipe company, and one of the things you put in pipe is water. And so I know everything there is to know about ductile iron pipe now. So everything there is to know about peak shirts and how golf shirts are made. And you need to know those things because when you talk to media, you need to sound like you're halfway intelligent. So you can actually go to the trade shows and tell people why Boston seats work better than all the other seats because they use a scissor cross hydraulic system that makes them give you a smooth ride on those long trips across country. Those sorts of things. I mean, and like now at Six Flags, it's been a year and I'm just now learning all the specs on the rides and learning how they operate. And like after talking to the mechanic, figuring out how acrophobia works. And after he explained it to me, that's when I finally decided to ride it, when I learned that there's no way it could possibly fall to the ground unless the gravitational field of the Earth was turned upside down, in which case the least of our problems would be some little ride called acrophobia. yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. You have to get to know it all, and you have to have a mouth, I guess, in some ways. Public relations is a good thing. When you go to school, at least you take that PR 101 class, what it may be called just Mass Comm 101. You can take it, learn a little bit about it, and really will help you in your business career, because you're never going to know, no matter where you get in your business. If your business does well, or maybe your business does bad, somebody's going to call you to task on it. You're going to have to maybe speak to someone about it, or you're going to have an issue that comes up with your business, and you're going to need to know a little bit more about how to communicate your position and let people understand your point of view without coming across the wrong way. And you watch the news every night, you pick up a business that did a bad job of communicating their position. Even some of the good guys do a really bad job of it. Look at that. They did a horrible job of communicating their message. They could have done a lot better job of coming off point early. Personalities, same thing. Martha messed up. I think Rush messed up. I think that, Rush, I listen to him every once in a while. He painted himself into a corner going around saying that, we lock those drug users into jail. Oops, I take drugs, so now what's he going to do? Lock himself in jail, I guess. So, you have to be careful, all those issues, manage them all. So, any questions? No, ma'am. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And if you guys ever need anything, come on out to Six Flags. We're open until November 2nd. There's my plug. So, Fright Fest the last 2 weekends. Thank you.
Before we take our break, we have some tips for our guest speaker, Mr. Rose. Last but not least, Mr. Cyclone. That's our intermission. We'll take a 15-minute intermission, and then our advisor will come back.
Do a picture real quick with Mr. Taylor and Rose. They'll actually won't step
Yeah, that's the one I wanted. I wanted to
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Linda Morris, and I'm one of the wonderful advisors. It echoes back when you stand right there. Would you want to stand on a chair? I'll stand on the back of it. All right, my part. And Monty, I have to tell you, when we have our club meetings, and because we meet during the day, this cafeteria is packed. Wall to wall people, with the coolest kids you've ever met in your whole life.
I'm cool. You like that?
This is really in my way. This is way too big for me. This is fun. All right. The parts that thank you very much, going to talk about are, first of all, our March of Dimes project. Guys, I have a little trivia thing. Did you know I used to work with March of Dimes on the side?
No.
There's a lady in the national office called Char Luger, and she is head of relations, bio something. I forgot. It's been way too many years. It's been 2 years. But she deals with a lot of the ethical issues, like, you've heard about the president's thing on trimester abortions and things like that, and the legislation that's gone through the House and the Senate. She dealt with a lot of those kind of issues. And when Mr. Taylor was talking about how you had to step up to the plate and do things, he reminded me of when I worked in public relations, when I was working with the senator's wife, I would travel. She's a United States senator's wife. I would travel with her. We'd go cool places and, little podunk towns sometimes, big towns. And I used to do these little spin things. And it was cool because I'd close down streets and have big press conferences. But that's another long story. It was awesome to be able to feel like you had the power to close a street. I mean, to me, that was cool. Well, one time we got to this little place in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the middle of nowhere, and we're talking to a bunch of women whose husbands are all something in the government, and she had this horrible bad cold, and she felt terrible, and it and I was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I thought, so I had to speak for her. Guys, you got to be able to stand up in front of people and talk. Now, I have a much easier time talking in front of students than I do a bunch of parents. So don't ask me to always get in front of parents and talk, because I get a little flighty then, because I'm always wondering, am I nice to this kid? Get in my class, that kind of thing. So anyways, but that's just another thing. I know that you always just like it when we do that in class and we have you stand up and give, talks and present and stuff. The more you do it, oh my gosh, the easier it gets. Okay, sideline. So March Dimes. March Dimes is a real special thing to me. I used to raise money actually for them. Raised over $1 million for a thing called the Mom-Mobile, but you got to come in my classroom to see my cool pictures. We're going to do our March of Dimes walk like we did last year, but it'll be in the spring, and it'll be, was it after the Special Olympics, I think? I think it was. It's after Special, thank you, Jason, the two-time chairperson of March of Dimes. So we'll be doing that after our Special Olympics stuff, so just kind of, when you come to the meetings, pay attention, and we'll do that. And hopefully we'll raise tons of money like we did before and have a lot of people go out and walk. All right, the other part that I just want to briefly talk about is the state project of getting down to business. Now, Monty, you're much better at this than I am, but I'll do my best. Getting down to business, and it's your snazzy orange sheet. The snazzy orange sheet basically tells you how FBLA members can heighten their awareness of careers, okay? Different careers. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years back, those of you that are maybe sophomores, juniors, we became industry certified. When we became industry certified, we had to get really good at lining up our curriculum with industry, okay? And that's where these areas for the business and information technology programs of study have come from, down in business administrations, finance, your office support, etc. All right, and so what we try to do in our classes is to stay up on all this stuff. That's why I've got all these fabulous conferences and things, so that we can help you in class get better at this. So through getting down to business, you have the opportunity to explore a little bit more. We do projects in class, outside of class, take field trips, all the field trips. Tell Monty on the side all the field trips we're going on this year. Shadowing, job shadowing, which begins in January. I think it's January 31st. And so if you have someone, like pretend you're not in a real job right now, or you're in a job and you want to do something else, you want to shadow somebody, find that person, get in touch with them, find out if you're, can spend a day with them. And it's actually a school-sponsored absence. It would be an FBLA school-sponsored absence, so you would not have to be considered absent. You have to just make your schoolwork done. Okay, so you could do that. We have field trips, guest speakers. Anytime we have speakers, we come to class, those kinds of things. But what you do is the chapter earns points based on all of the activities that we participate in and keep track of, and then we're getting down to business. So good with that? Is that okay? Okay. Cool beans. All right. The next person to speak is the fabulous Beth Chandler with a partner. Do they know? Do they know?
Oh, do I?
I'm just real excited, so that's why.
No, I'm excited too. If y'all don't know, I'm going to have a baby. I'm excited. I haven't really told a lot of people, but that's fine. We can tell everybody now because Miss Stewart knows. I finally tracked her down and got her and told her that, y'all can tell her. Yeah, it's due in June. Y'all can go to the hospital.
Like baby shower, okay?
Yeah, okay. Y'all can vote for the name if you want to. Give me submissions. We thought about we thought about Linda Gale. What do y'all think? What's your big boy's name? All right. Okay, guys. I'm going to talk about, the first thing I'm going to talk about is chapter recognition programs. And FBLA has an annual competition that recognizes outstanding chapters at the state and the national level. Okay, because you can earn certain levels. Okay, the levels of competition recognition of the bronze key, the silver key, and the gold key, okay? And in the years past, FBLA has been recognized as outstanding chapters. And last year, under the direction of Mr. Jason Throckmorton, our chapter, and Ms. Morrow, and all the advisors, yes, okay, our chapter received Gold Chapter of the Year last year. So, and that was largely, definitely due to Jason and Ms. Morrow. But we want to continue, y'all, to be the best chapter in Georgia, okay? And to make it happen, it takes everybody working together. The advisors, the members, and the officers play a big role, okay? And I want y'all to know, okay, what does it take to be Gold Chapter of the Year, okay? Because we want to be the best. You know, why be bronze or silver? We want to be gold, right? Okay, so our chapter as a whole must complete 15 activities and document these activities. And if you look in your little packet, you have a little gold sheet, okay? On the yellow sheet in your packet, it has the activities that are listed, okay? Notice the activities at the bronze, silver, and gold level. Then you have to complete them all to be, you know, to have the gold key award, okay? And that's what our goal is going to be, okay? And, but what's in it for you? What do you think? Okay, you're recognized at the State Leadership Conference in the spring. We got a plaque last year, and the president accepts that. So, Dusty, you'll be on stage if we get that far. We get a certificate of recognition and a letter of commendation to our principal from the FBLA PBL CEO. We get the advisors get tail pins. We get ribbons if we go to the National Leadership Conference. You know, and that would be definitely doing that. But, and then we're included on the Outstanding Chapter Honor Roll, which that would be the national publication. This is a great opportunity for our chapter to display pride in Central High School, and you know, I think we should go for it. Do our best. Yeah. You know, to make it this year. Okay. So let's go. All work together. Okay. Does anybody else say anything about the gold chapter or silver or bronze or anything? The next thing I want to talk to you about is the school cleanup project, and it's in your hand. It should be a green handout in your packet. And y'all,
Guys, this is the coolest little flyer.
this is cool.
She did such a good job creating it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Now, y'all listen, Miss Stewart, she came to the teachers, and we were talking about it in a faculty meeting that, you know, we need to have school pride, and it's really, you know, it's come to everybody's attention that, you know, people throw things down in the halls and the lunchroom. Have y'all noticed that in our school? Okay, I have too. And we came with those videos, and everybody tore up the videos, and I mean, that was bad. Okay, so what do we do as FBLA? We're leaders, right? Yeah. Okay, so we should take the leadership, you know, and we need to clean up our school. Okay, that's what this is all about. Okay. And it will be a whole school-wide initiative, okay? And I was thinking some ideas, maybe we could make posters, we could hang them in the bathrooms, in the hall, the lunchroom, we could decorate trash cans or something. Miss Morris was talking about maybe having some people even patrol the halls and encourage people to clean up, maybe get some t-shirts. I thought that maybe we could make a video, put it on the announcement, maybe, or something. Anyway, the point is we need you guys to be involved, and we need your ideas about how we can make this a success. So if anybody, and this is something that FBLA is sponsoring, and that we have told everybody that we're sponsoring, and y'all, we need to do a good job of it. And so if you're interested, Megan Dixon, she's not here tonight, she told me she was interested. If y'all are interested in being part of that, I have sign-up sheets, and you can just see me tonight, and go ahead and sign up for it. And so we'll be a committee, we'll be working together and getting our ideas out, and then we'll go and do it. Okay? So y'all excited about that? That'll be fun. Yeah. Okay? All right. Now, Ms. Christian is going to talk about Business Achievement Awards and the calendar.
Okay, we have in here on the pink copy, actually we've got 2 pages that explain the awards. These are individual member awards. This is not a club as a whole. This is your award, your personal award. And there are 4 basic awards that you can get. You've got the Future Award, Business Award, Leader Award, and then the America. And it shows what you have to do to get these things. Now, if you look on over to page, the yellow page here and the white page. And there's a yellow and white, and I know y'all said, did you know that you have 2 in here? Yes, we did that on purpose. The yellow copy is going to be your copy. that you're going to keep for yourself to see what you have completed. We are very much wanting every member of FBLA to get the Future Award. We're going to really strive for it. I want you to help me help others. We're going to be having sessions in class. We'll be doing some things in class for those members. We're also going to offer times after school so people can come in that are not in our classes to be able to do some of the things that are on the sheet that they choose to do. And something, like Mr. Rhodes said, it is easy to get because it is something that all members should be doing. Now, we want to be members more than in just name only. And a lot of people sometimes join clubs just so they can say, I was a member of this club and this club and this club, and they never did anything. We want to do something as a member. Every member would want to do something as a member, and this is one thing that you can do. Some of the things that you do is just come to club meetings. Bring a friend to club meetings. We've got some little education projects that we're going to be doing in class and after school to allow time and help for y'all, all of the students to be able to do. And then on the back side, the progress, these are bringing friends, complete the Future Award test, and there is a test that you have to take, but you can take it as many times as you need to get the point. So, you know, go figure, if you don't pass it the first time, you at least know what's on it, right? So, you know the things to look up, right? But we're going to try to pass it the first time, and we're going to take it as many times as possible to get it. It's a little test that you have to take, which you have to do. Invite a guest speaker if possible. Those are the things that you do. There are 3 different sections to this, and you can do this. One of the things that somebody asked me about a while ago is write a one-page report on the service organization in your community and present it. And I was very pleased to hear him say that he wants more than just the Future Award. He wants to go even higher and get one of these other awards like the Business Award or the Leader Award. He wants to really go, and I am very impressed that somebody is already making that a goal. And you are recognized. You get a lapel pin. We will recognize you at our spring banquet. When we have our banquet in the springtime, make sure everybody knows who went that extra mile. And I hope, again, I want to show Georgia, I want to show all of FBLA Georgia that Central High School's got the best club in the state. And one way to do this is to everybody attain this award. And I think you can do it.
Yes, I do.
And we'll help. We're going to help you. You know, it's not a matter of we're leaving you out there standing alone. We're going to help you. Now, the reason you have a yellow sheet and a white sheet, the yellow sheet is for you to keep, so that you can keep up with the things that you have completed. Now, the white sheet is for you to fill out. There's a section on here where you fill out your name on the back side and your advisor's name and all this. We want you to go ahead and fill this out on the back side and give it to Ms. Chandler. Ms. Chandler is going to be keeping up with who has completed what. What we will have to do is, as you complete them, we will have to give Ms. Chandler a list of students. We can sign off on your little form that you have completed it, and then we'll let Ms. Chandler know who has completed what on this. Now, some things we'll be able to do from, like, minutes of club meetings and that stuff, you know, things like that. We'll be able to do whether you come, you know, whether you brought a friend, those kind of things. But it is a very easy award to get, and we want to see everybody get it. Now, one thing that my seniors are interested in is we have a little supplement here, and it's on the little half orange sheet. When seniors graduate from high school, if they are members of FBLA and they have completed these things, they get a medallion to be able to wear during graduation. It is an FBLA medallion, and it is it should be something that you are proud of, that you have achieved. It is not going to be just given away to every senior in FBLA. You have to earn it. Now, some of the things that we do. In addition to the Future Award, everyone must achieve the Future Award. You must attend 5 additional club meetings. Everybody should go to meetings, you know. We can, you know, we have lots of them. You'll make 5 if you just come to them. Attend a school FBLA rally. Yay. Everybody, I've got several seniors here, as a matter of fact, lots of seniors here that's wanting to get the medallion. Attend the Fall Leadership Conference, the Region Competition, or the Spring State Conference. We want people to compete. And we're going to get several people to compete in several areas. And so if you just compete, now what competition, the region competition, now I've told y'all this at the last meeting, but I'm going to say another word about it. What the competition is you will take a test. Now, if it's a skills kind of competition, you will take a test here at school. There will be a teacher come from another school that will come here and administer the test. You will take the test here at school, and then we will go to region conference in January. I knew that's on my calendar. January, towards the end, and we will go, I think it's at Morrow High School for us. And we will be going to that region conference, and you will take a written test. Most people take a written test. I think there may be 1 or 2 competitions that you don't at that time, but you still go, so that you can get your award when you win. But last year we went, it was on the coldest day of the year. We like to take road.
No, it's not outside.
No, it's not outside. No, the thing is not outside. But you would have thought that you were outside when we rode home on the bus, you know, and your feet were about to freeze on that old school bus. But we still had fun. I mean, we were warm with excitement. It was a lot of fun. We just had lots of fun last year. Okay, so we want you, if you're not able to go to the Fall Leadership Conference, region competition, or the spring, well, we're going to get you in on the region. You're going to do the region competition, okay, if you can't do the other 2. Now, Mr. Rhodes just told me a while ago, I was explaining to him one of the reasons why we had so few people sign up for the Fall Leadership Conference we felt was that, like, we had our club meeting when we told you about the conference and we were out of it. And we had to get that money right in. As soon as you came back, and y'all have been out of week, you had forgotten about school, you forgot about the money, you forgot about everything. We did finally come up with 10 people who wanted to go. But he said that if we could come up with more that would like to go, that they would not make us pay that late fee. That we could still get people in on the same fee and just let them know, write a note and let them know what happened. So I think we could probably come up with maybe 5 more people at least.
Yeah, at least
And,
5, maybe 10.
and so you need to let me get the word out, help me get the word out on that. And so we had a lot of fun. That's just a lot of fun. It's an Athens this year.
Oh, guys, we had a blast last year. That's Jason and Chris and Steven.
Well, they're still asking. They all have. The ones that went last year said, "Are we going to do so and so this year? Are we going to do so and so this year?" So they're excited about it. So that, you know, they had a lot of fun. Okay, number 4, you must participate in all fundraising activities. Right now, you know, we're selling umbrellas. It's easy to sell an umbrella, y'all. I mean, you know, everybody needs an umbrella, so you can sell them. Now, one of the things that we have done is we have ordered a few extra, and hopefully we'll be able to sell them at the football games.
Education, summer basketball games.
Basketball games, we will sell these umbrellas, but you need to sell at least 1 umbrella. Yes.
I got some recipes, I'll probably bring them in tomorrow. You still doing that?
Yes, recipes. You know, we're trying to do a recipe book, so if you've got recipes, please be sure and bring those in. Okay? Then you must participate in 3 out of the 4 community service projects. Now, our community service projects are things such as the Special Olympics, Alice's House, and the emergency cell, the coat and the toy drive. All of those community projects we do, you must participate in 3 out of 4 of those.
And the cleanup.
And the cleanup.
That would be a community project.
Yes, yeah, the cleanup thing is definitely. All right, and then participate in 2 out of the 4 field trips. And actually, we've got 4 planned field trips. We're going to try to get in 1 or 2 more next semester. So at least 2 field trips. So we've got one next week that we're going to Carter Center next Wednesday. Is it too late to get money in?
No. No, I have about 4 places left.
If you want to go to Carter Center next Wednesday, we have a field trip there. We have one in November to Turnerfield.
And I have actually I have about 12 spots left on that one.
So, and that's for this semester. We have 2 this semester. We have 2 absolute positive planned ones for next semester with one on the horizon, another 1 or 2 on the
Yeah, we're going to go
horizon.
to Dalvin's Airport Base in January. Guys,
That was
folks that went
fun.
last year, I mean, we had a blast. That was like a bomb trip. So, go with us. We didn't go last year.
We were planning on going to the CNN Talk Back Live.
They canceled the
They
show.
canceled the show, so we won't be doing that this year. So, Top Back Live. We always do it every year, just the time of year, and they sort of get away with it.
Never have any other lives.
So that is what I want to go over with you, seniors. You see now exactly what you've got to do. You've got it in writing, bright orange paper for you to keep up with. Are there any questions about this? Oh, calendar. I was going to do calendar too, and then I'm going to hush. Calendar of events. We are past September. We're almost past October. So we do have our field trip coming up. November, we got, this is what we will be having in November, and of course the rest of the school year. You can see that we will have a club meeting every month, so to get your 5 meetings in, you've got plenty to choose from now on. Our installation banquet, our final banquet, we install officers, we recognize members that have achieved awards and all of this at that banquet, and that's going to be May the 4th. And March of Dimes will be sometime in March. I kind of gave some, we're not real sure, but we're planning on doing it about this time, so listen up in case of a schedule change here, okay? I've also even got written down here, like if you're going to a conference, and you've got to have money in for it. So, if that'll help you maybe plan. Okay, any questions? Hold on to the blue sheets. That's your kind of your map to get through the year. Hold on to the yellow future award sheet. That is also something that you need to take care of. And go ahead and fill out the white sheet and get it to Ms. Chandler. Yes.
What about the FBLA?
FBLA Week. FBLA Week is a week that we celebrate FBLA in general, and we try to do a lot of things to recognize FBLA in school. We have done things like give out balloons. We've done things such as we've given books to the media center. We have given out
do something different every day.
Yeah.
You know, last year they put like, we were thinking about using some of our paper clips and giving like a box of paper clips to all the teachers each day. It's a long story, God asked us more about the paper clips. You know, but each day FBLA did something, and we try to wear like our clothes all week and just make a lot of rah-rah about it, stand in the hall and pass out suckers and have little
big
FBLA
time
signs on
recognition
it.
for us.
Just little things every day, you know.
And things that we
Oh,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
for others in the process. We try to maybe give out candy to people, you know, and this is from FBLA. We've had cupcakes, I think, and things like that we've given them at lunchtime and that kind of stuff. It's just, didn't we do the planting the tree one year during FBLA week? We planted a tree out by Lakeshore Park.
Plus we cleaned up the teachers.
We cleaned up after the teachers after school. Lots of things. It's not just eating and having fun, but it's trying to do some things to benefit the community and the school team. That's what we're about. That's what we are about, service. Okay? Any question? That was a good question. Any other questions? All right.
We'd like to thank y'all for coming out to the FBLA Rally, and we look forward to having a great year in FBLA, so let's get it started.
Yeah.
All those people that did not come tonight, and I know some people had some really good reasons, because I've heard some like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But we've got to get the word out to all the other efforts. We've got over 80 members paid. I haven't got them all to the international thing yet, but we've got 73 that's just been into the nationals, and we had about 10 others that have paid.
Oh yeah, we did last year, number one, big time. It's cool.
So, and
If anybody wants another snack, or if they want to stay around and help
please,
gather.
Oh, it's okay. You have to look how old it is.